Happy Saturday, everybody. I hope you are all having a great weekend. I'm going to have to do something a little bit different for this video. I need to keep it a little bit short because, well, everybody in my house is sick, myself included. My girls have pink eye, and I've got this weird throat chest thing going on, and, well, I don't want to break into a coughing fit or lose my voice, so I'm going to have to keep this a little bit short. But for this video, what I wanted to do was actually something that I haven't really had a chance to do since I've had this boat, which is take a closer look at the transom and specifically this outboard bracket thing to actually see how it's mounted and just kind of poke around a little bit. So this is what's called an Armstrong bracket, and I'm sure they have different models, but this is a pretty beefy little platform here. I measured from there all the way over to there, and it's about 30 inches. So I mean, yeah, as you can see, even with the engines mounted, there's still quite a bit of room where you can walk back and forth here. Now, technically, I believe this is supposed to be, somewhat of a diving platform, like for scuba diving, which is why they've got this diving type ladder set up here. Now, one of the interesting things about this particular type of platform, and I'm sure that there are other brands out there that make a similar type of platform, but this one, it has basically sealed off chambers inside. So basically, when these two lids are placed on top, they're an airtight chamber. So that's supposed to offer some counter buoyancy to the weight of these engines because they've just been extended almost 3 feet. So from what I've been able to gather, the amount of flotation that's in this platform is enough to counterbalance essentially one 250 horse engine. So even though there's twin engines sitting back out here, you're really only adding on additional weight of one engine, although there are two, in theory. So as far as what this looks like in here, let me flip my screen down so I can see what I'm looking at. Little concerned that I don't really see a full line of caulking across that bottom bottom bracket there, but overall there's a pretty good amount of space in here. And this chamber, even though there's a divider, I think that's just a stiffener, because I think there's a little weep hole over that we can see on the other side. So let's go check that out real quick. So, yep, there is, so basically if water does get in, well, I suppose that makes sense because there's a little drain hole there, so that if any water does get in here, on either side of these chambers, it collects in the center and you can drain it out, hopefully before the boat sinks. So, and then this is over on the port side, so looking at the bottom edge of this platform, I like seeing the 4 nice bolts there. I'm not so convinced that this is sealed, which is probably not the best, but we'll see. Between you and me, I kind of suspect that when everything is all said and done, I'm gonna have to pull these engines back off, pull the bracket, and then reseal everything, just because, well, the caulking that's here has been there for a long time, at least 10 years, which is basically the usable life expectancy of caulking. And the more I'm digging into this boat, the more I'm starting to kind of question how well and how thorough a lot of this stuff was actually done. But we'll see. We'll do a float test first. I don't want to do more work than is needed, but that's my prediction. That's my prediction that when it's all said and done, I'm going to dunk this thing in the water and it's going to take on a ton, and I'm going to have to strip the engines back off and redo this platform. But that's not today, that's not this week, that's not this winter. So I'll deal with that problem when it comes. All right, so let's climb on up in here and see. This is the part that I'm probably most, I don't want to say concerned, but most interested in, to see how well they actually did this. And that's basically to see how much they beefed up this transom area, because this boat was not built with the design intention of actually having outboards. This has been modified to some extent. So, well, I'm curious to see how well they kind of beefed things up, because I can see that they did some. but I don't know that it was quite enough, but I'll show you what I'm looking at here. All right, so overall, here I can see what's going on here. So there's the port side, and you can see they did lay some additional glass inside that corner. And then they also did the same thing over on the starboard side. Now, the one thing about this that I'm noticing right now is that the glass that they used is chop strand matting. And it looks like they also used it with epoxy, which, I don't know. If you're looking to build strength, one, chop strand is not the material you want to be using. It has some strength, but not a whole lot. So I don't really know how much that's actually doing. What I'll probably end up doing once I get situated back in this area is I'll probably grind most of that back off and then come back in and then tab it back in and beef it up with some 1708. Probably, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 layers of it on each corner. So that being that, let's take a look at some of this other stuff going on here. Now, the actual bracket itself, that's what all these bolts are. The bracket itself looks like it's all being, as a backing board, they're using what's called G10, which is, actually, it's a great material to use. It's a little pricey. Well, basically, it's a composite panel that's strictly all fiberglass, and I believe it's made with epoxy. And then it's put into a press and then heated. So basically, it's a 100% solid composite material, which is, I can tell just what little experience I have of working with this stuff, it's extremely, extremely strong. So that part of the install, I personally don't have any concerns about. That part, to me, looks really, really good. Lots of caulking. It's that the G10 material looks like it's about 3/8, maybe ½ inch thick, which I think is plenty strong. Some of the other things that they've done on here, which I think are good ideas, and I've heard other Bertram owners talk about doing this as well, which is essentially adding on to the side stringers, which is like that thing right there. So they've extended it and then actually tabbed it into the transom. They did it on both the port and the starboard side, and actually that would have been the port and the starboard side, because my brain's not working. And this part down the middle, the center stringer, now this one typically ended just forward of the engine mount here, or the old engine mount. And it looks like, I don't know that this is original, or from the factory like this. I suppose it could be. I don't think that it is, though. Just because it looks like an aluminum plate. It may actually be some of that G10 as well. I'm not quite sure, but to me, it looks like an aluminum plate. There was also, kind of tabbed into the hull as well as back into the transom. So I don't know. I will say one thing: I'm not overly impressed with the quality of the glass work. So there's a good chance that when I get back here, I'm probably going to redo a lot of this. Just if nothing else, just to make it, kind of pretty it up a little bit, and then also just have some peace of mind, because like I said, using chop strand back in here really wasn't the best choice, but it is what it is. That's a beautiful thing about composite work, is if you do something and you don't like it, it's easy to fix. Just sand it back off and redo it. So like I said, unfortunately, I'm gonna keep this one short because I'm not feeling too swift, and I still got some editing to do and get home and help to take care of the girls. So now the next project video is going to be coming out on Monday afternoon, and hopefully, I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. It did not turn out anywhere near the way that I was hoping that it was going to turn out going into it Monday morning, but I'll explain all of that, and hopefully you'll get a little bit of a chuckle out of it. So in any event, and have a great rest of the weekend. And as always, I want to thank you very, very much for all that you do here. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I will be talking to you again very soon. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you Monday.